Well, that didn't last long. Hello and welcome back to the weekly crypto review. So last night I got on my phone and I started checking just to see what the prices were, and I saw that Bitcoin was down below $9,000. Okay, this is kind of what I've been expecting. Checked it this morning before doing this video and found out it's back up where it was. Okay, that's fine too. Let's get into the charts. First off, Brave browser, fantastic browser. If you use the link below in the description, you download it, you use it for 30 days. You get a great browser, I get a little bit of BAT. Fantastic deal for both of us. So let's take a look at what's going on with the charts, or with the cryptos in general. As you can see, one of the things I like about this website, Coin Paprika, is it gives you a bunch of different time frames, and it really does show what the difference a little bit of time can make. So if you look at the 1 hour, everything's green. It's not up a whole lot, but everything's green. You look at the last 24 hours, last day, and most everything is red. What we're looking at is the longer term time frame, because we're in this for the long term. We're waiting for that big payoff in another year and a half or so. Unfortunately, we don't have, through this screen, we don't have that long-term view. We do have 7 days though, and it's interesting. In the last week, Tether, the top 10 cryptos, Tether's the only one that's up, and it's supposed to be $1 per coin all the time. I do, however, notice that Chainlink is up almost 9% in the last week. Now, I just put some of my paycheck into Chainlink yesterday, and it's currently at $4.54, so it's gone up by 14 cents since I purchased some more yesterday. Not a bad deal. I expect to see this continue going up. Let's take a look at, well, we're going to look at the 7-day here real quick. So, over the last week, we see Celsius has gone up 55%, over 55%. Is there anything in here? Ren is another one that we know of, up almost 22%, 21.75%. Bancor BAT is up almost 12% in the last week. That's great to know. Now you know why I want you to download the browser so I can get paid some BAT. It's doing very well. Let's see here. It's up at 26 cents already. That's actually really good. I started buying it at, I don't know, a nickel. Chainlink down here, and it's up here. Again, it's up almost 9%. What else do we have? VeChain, 4% up. So we've got a lot of this going up, even though Bitcoin is kind of going down, certainly over the last week. We're seeing a lot of these altcoins going up. They're not in parity with Bitcoin at this point, and that's a good thing. That's really what we'd like to see. We would like to see the different coins going up or down based on their own merits, not based on what Bitcoin does. So let's take a look and see what we're going on here with the charts. We'll start with the weekly Bitcoin chart, as always. So like I said, I watched this last night, and we were down here at 89 something, 89.11, something like that. It was down here on the bottom of this shadow for this weekly candle. We've got, looks like 9.5 hours left in the week. Looks like it's going to be a down candle, but this is Sunday morning. It's going to close out the week tonight. I have seen candles where on Sunday it looked really bad during the day, and then by the next day we get this massive green candle. So really hard to say what we're going to see today. Let's look at the daily where we're at. So on the daily, pull this up a little bit so you can see it. Yeah, it looks like we're up for the day, because again, last night we were down to whatever, 8,900. What's the opening here? It looks like the opening, actually the low is 89.46, which is probably about where we were last night. I don't tend to look at the daily a whole lot, because really there's not much to see here. I'm not day trading, so I'm not really interested in the daily charts. Weekly, absolutely. Monthly, absolutely. Because over the long term, this is going to show us a much better picture of what to expect. And what we're seeing, and what we have been seeing for the past 6-7 weeks, is that these candles are riding this descending line of resistance. And so each week we go down a little further, and what I'm looking at, what I'm seeing is that we're riding this line of resistance down, but we're maintaining that right up against it as best we can. We're not going up and down. We're right up against it, and each of these candles tops out right at this line of resistance. And what it looks like, based on what I've seen in the past, I think what we're going to end up seeing is that eventually, at some point, and no one knows when, I certainly don't, at some point, I fully expect that we're going to break out above this line of resistance. And when we do, it's going to be a massive breakout. It may drop down and then come and push its way through, but I think it's going to be a massive breakout, and we're going to find ourselves certainly above this descending line of resistance, but we may find ourselves above this line of resistance and even possibly above this line of resistance. I think that's how massive that breakout's going to be. And granted, but the distance between these two lines is only $1,000. And this one, it depends on where we break out as to how far below the blue line of resistance we will be. But I absolutely can see this thing breaking out massively and going up and then retesting and finding its line of support, whether it's this descending line or one of these straight horizontal lines. I'd love to see the horizontal lines, either one of these horizontal lines, become support, because at that point we have a floor, a bottom, if you will, to the price. And chances are, with few exceptions, that's where we're going to come back to if we go up and then drop back down. We're going to come down to where we find support. If it's along this descending line, well, the farther out we go, the farther down in price this line goes. And so out here in February of 2021, not that I think this is going to happen, but you see where if this becomes a line of support, suddenly we could drop down here and be back at $7,000. I don't expect that to happen. I'm very hopeful that one of these two horizontal lines will become the line of support for us, and then we can start working our way farther up. Again, I am not expecting a $20,000 Bitcoin until at least the end of this year, probably the beginning of next year. We've got plenty of time. Remember, most of the profit that we're going to see, most of the growth that we're going to see in Bitcoin is going to come in the very last month to 6 weeks of the bubble. It's that 4 to 6 weeks at the very end of the bubble where everything goes parabolic that we're going to see a doubling every week or so of the price. So yeah, if we start, let's assume we have a 4 week, a month, 4 weeks of exponential growth. Well, let's assume it gets to say $50,000, and that's where the exponential growth starts, which I absolutely can see. So we go through, it starts the exponential growth, and the next week it's now at $100,000. Next week it doubles again, now it's at $200,000. The third week it's at $400,000. Do you see how this works? I don't know that we're going to get to $400,000. I absolutely believe we're going to go well above $100,000 by the time this is all over. Again, this is just based on what I've seen in the market before and how I've seen markets react in the past. This is not the time to panic. This is the time to sit back and honestly, if you and again, none of this is investment advice. I'm simply looking at the charts and telling you what I see based on my knowledge and experience. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. What I'm doing is I'm putting money into the market at this point because Bitcoin is still below $10,000. I fully expect that after the bubble pops, wherever it ends up going, it's going to drop. The price of Bitcoin will probably come down to about $29,000 or $30,000. I think that's where we're going to find the bottom of the next bear market. That being said, to my mind, and again, not financial advice, but in my mind, what I'm saying is that if I buy Bitcoin at anything below $30,000, I think that I'm going to end up making a profit. Even if I miss the top of the market and ride it all the way back down to the bottom of the bear market, I'm still going to make money. I'm still going to end up with more money than I put into it. This is the way I'm looking at it. Okay? So at this point, absolutely. This is, for me, I'm putting money into the market. One of the things that I'm putting money into at this point is, let's go down here and find it. There it is. Chainlink. And the reason I'm doing that is because I think Chainlink is one of those cryptos that is going to, over the next year and a half or so, I think it's going to moon. There's no other word for it. As you can see, over the last couple of months, it's gone up and up and up with a few down days, but up and up and up, and I expect it to continue doing so. I fully expect that at some point in the next, 4 or 5 weeks, we'll see a drop, just like we did here. We'll have a drop a week where it drops. Again, it's recovered to beyond where it was before the drop in the last 2 weeks. And this is what I like to see in an investment, is this upward momentum. Yes, it's not going to go straight up. It's going to drop down every so often. We're going to see a dip. Buy the dip. Absolutely buy the dip. And that's what I try and do. Is I don't necessarily wait for the dip, because I don't know when it's going to come, and I don't know how far it's going to dip. This would have been, for me, a really good dip to buy. I didn't have the money at the time to put into it, so I didn't buy that dip. But I did buy in yesterday it was like $4.40 a coin. So I'm up at this point 15 cents a coin. I'm not unhappy about that. I bought in below what the current price is, and I expect this to go up even higher. By 2 weeks from now, I may be buying more Chainlink when I get paid next time. 2 weeks from now, we may be seeing a $5 a coin Chainlink. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I won't be surprised if we do. Or certainly up much closer to $5 a coin. And I will continue to buy in, because as long as it's going up, I think that it's going to be a good bargain at this price point. Remember, I'm expecting, at this point, we're almost to $5 a coin now. So in a year and a half, I could see $20 a coin, $50 a coin, possibly even $100 a coin. So again, from my point of view, this is a value. This is a good buy. This is a discount. This is a good price to buy at. You have to make your own choices and your own decisions. Anyway, that's where we're at this week. Things are looking good. Things are looking stable, which may or may not be good, but we're not dropping drastically. That's a good thing. Depending on what you've got your money in, you're seeing some profits. That's not a bad thing. So until next week, remember, don't trust, verify. I'll see you next week.